Okay, we're pleased this morning, let's say, to be one of the key players and experts in the world of Enterprise 2.0. Dion Hinchcliffe, and thanks to be with us.
Thank you for having me.
And what I would like to do with you, Dion, is let's say from your point of view, let's say since people and key players and decision makers are very much hesitating in some cases, okay, to enter in the world of Enterprise 2.0. What are the key recommendations, what are the key points you will advocate for a CEO, for head of governmental agencies, for decision-making persons?
Absolutely. Well, we see these very broad changes in our society and culture because of the internet, and social tools in particular have become very, very common. In fact, throughout most of Europe, social tools are used more than any other type of application. Even email is now less popular than these social tools. Only search is more popular. So they've gone into the mainstream, and people are already using these very successfully in their private lives. The question is, do they have business value? This is what leaders are asking. You know, if I bring this in, is it going to help me make my business better? Is it going to run better? Am I going to have more bottom line results I'm looking for? And that's the open question. If the answer is yes, and definitely, most business leaders would do it if there's an open question. So why should we look at social tools? What will they help us do? That's the big question. So on day one of the conference, I opened up with all of the latest research and case studies. And I've looked at hundreds of these pilot projects. Some companies like Wells Fargo, some places in government like the CIA within telemedia, they're already using these across their whole organization. Wells Fargo has 160,000 people using these tools. The CIA, same thing. Most of the organization is broadly using them. And when we look at what people are reporting, what they're finding when they use these tools, most of them report higher levels of productivity. Workers can find the information, or the people that know the information, faster than they could. You get better knowledge retention. Social tools have much higher engagement, and their artifacts are much more public. So they leave behind valuable things that were trapped before in IT systems. Our companies are awash in data. We can't get to it to do our jobs. So social tools are more open, and they leave behind things that give you value. So knowledge retention. You know, I know in France you guys don't have as much turnover in business as we do. But it's really important for us, and we see a lot of people, especially as you downsize, all of their smart people are leaving. How do we keep what's up here? So these tools will actually allow us to manage the change we see, changes we see in our workforces now. When we downsize or we reorganize or merge our companies, these allow us to retain that knowledge. And if you want to attract the best and brightest people coming out of today's universities, well, you have to offer a modern workplace. And social communication has proven to be very productive and rewarding in many cases. We're still waiting for it to be definitive everywhere, but that data doesn't exist yet. But all indications are it's very promising. So my recommendations would be start small in some part of your organization, but not too small. You want to get critical mass. Learn the tools, learn how to manage them, learn how to get them to generate results, and then draw on the rest of your organization. And if the pilot doesn't work, then you can wait until you have more evidence. But we're not talking about things that are very expensive here. It's not incredibly cheap, but the tools are not expensive. It's more about changing the way we think and the way that we work. That's the most difficult part of doing this.
And do you think that all these social media and social tools, let's say, are going to change the model of the enterprise per se?
Well, and that's I think the concern is, do they cause disruption? Do they change the org chart? And I had one of the folks out at Atlassian. They're a maker of probably the most popular business enterprise 2.0 tool. So it's a wiki platform. And they said they've noticed something very interesting. Not so much disruption of the existing organization, but those that share their knowledge in these forums and these new social tools tend to become the recognized experts. Even if there's someone else in the organization, another group, that's supposed to be distributing this information, those who actually share, those who actually help others and contribute, become the go-to people in their organization. And it's more of an unofficial thing, but what it allows your best performers and your smartest people, the ones that use these tools, benefit the rest of the organization much more than otherwise. So we do see changes like that happening, that you get this new layer of kind of unofficial leaders in given areas. So,
yeah, the go-to people are the new leaders.
Well, by de facto, not by fiat, but by the fact that they're actually helping people in the organization. They're contributing, participating, and sharing their knowledge. They become experts.
Since you do have an international view, okay, an enterprise 2.0, okay, in Europe, okay, you have a view. It seems that you told me that you see some differences between countries in Europe.
Yes. I hosted a panel at CeBIT a couple months ago now, I guess, and I was asking where's the usage coming from? Who's downloading and trying out these tools? And they came back. They see it everywhere, but Germany's number 1, UK's number 2, and then kind of everyone else after that. So definitely seeing some geographical differences in Europe.
Do you see some impact for the SMEs?
Small, medium-sized businesses, we call them SMBs here. Yeah, exactly. We see that they are, contrary to what we would think, they are behind most large organizations in adopting these tools. Large organizations have the time and the resources, and they have more dedicated people working on technology and strategy, business strategy. So Global 2000 companies are 50% of them already have these tools. Yeah. And then going down the list, the smaller the company, the less likely they are to use the tools. But the important thing is they're all using them. Maybe only 25% of SMEs are using the tools. That means millions of organizations, literally, right?
Okay. It means that this year is a very much mature, type of phase. We're entering really in the solid state of we are focusing on appropriation results. It's clear that you do believe that we are now reaching a level of consolidation of the enterprise 2.0 approach.
It seems that way. I think there's a consensus on what makes an effective social tool, because we've had email is a social tool, right? But it's different. It's more closed. Yeah, exactly. So I think we have a sense. We see new things like microblogging and social messaging, like Twitter, and there's all these tools. There's no consensus of if that's going to be big in the enterprise. It's going to be the more traditional social tools. 2.0 tools like blogs, wikis, community platforms. Those are the ones people are looking at social networking too.
Okay, thanks a lot, Dion. I appreciate that very much, and hopefully I will see you in Europe soon.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Bye bye, Dion.
Appreciate it.
Merci.